600 wins, 6 Georgia State championships, 16 regional championships, 2-time National Coach of the Year, first team from Georgia to win the City of Palms Classic, the nation's #1 high school tournament, first team in Georgia history to attend the Dick's Sporting Goods National Tournament of Championships. He's produced numerous NBA players and professional basketball players all over the world. It's real basketball talk. It's real help and real life with Coach Doug Lipscomb on the BG Podcast Network. Real Life Basketball is brought to you by the all-new 2018 K900 at Carriage Kia of Woodstock and Gainesville. Buy your new K900 from Carriage Kia and we'll fly you in or come pick you up for delivery. Visit CarriageKia.com 24/7, 365 days a year. For America's best deal on the K900, call Chris Stanford directly at 1-866-333-2122. That's 1-866-333-2122.
And welcome once again to Real Life Basketball. Coach Darien and Coach Doug. Why am I calling myself Coach Darien? Darien Sutherland, Coach Doug Lipscomb, the legend, here from Cobb County, Georgia. Coach, we got a great South Georgia guy on the phone today. And he's one of the greatest athletes in the state of Georgia. He's my age, matter of fact. He's a year younger than me, but he's my age. But when I was in high school and when I was watching college, he was the man. We got Charlie Ward coming up. Going to talk to us a little bit today.
Great guy, very positive person.
Heisman Trophy winner, played the NBA, was drafted in Major League Baseball. A lot of you didn't know that. He'll tell the stories of that. Then after we get through with Charlie, we'll come back and we'll say what happened with our bracket. But before we move forward, everybody in the basketball world is talking about the University of Maryland at Baltimore County. Coaches, me and you were watching that. What were you thinking? What were you was ready for Virginia to make a run, wasn't you?
Well, I just kept looking for it, and I'm sure their coach did too. You know, we're going to weather the storm. We're going to make a run right here.
Going to make a run. Well, they weathered the storm. A lot of people weathered storms this weekend. Your buddy Bruce Pearl weathered a monsoon storm. So anyway, but let's get on to the Carriage Automotive Group Skype line and talk to our buddy Charlie Ward, Heisman Trophy winner on Real Life Basketball.
Come see the Carriage family and experience the Carriage difference.
Kia is keeping it real with the all-new 2018 K900. Drive the car LeBron James drives and other NBA players call their preferred vehicle of choice. And right now, Carriage Kia of Woodstock and Gainesville has your new K900 ready for delivery. Go online, handle everything, then upon completion, we will fly you in to pick up your new K900 or deliver it directly to you. Call Chris Stanford directly at 1-866-333-2122. That's 1-866-333-2122. Ask for Chris Stanford, Carriage Kia, 24/7, 365 days a year at CarriageKia.com.
Come see the Carriage family and experience the Carriage difference.
And welcome to the Carriage Automotive Group Skype line. On the line with us, former Heisman Trophy winner, NBA player, Florida State Hall of Famer, alumnus, and all-time great, Mr. Charlie Ward. Charlie, thanks for being with Coach Doug Lipscomb and myself, Darien Sutherland, on Real Life Basketball. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing just fine. I appreciate you guys having me on your show.
No problem. It's always great to talk to a Georgia high school legend, and I'll say that because I'm a Georgia guy, and you can tell from my voice I'm a Georgia guy. So, I laugh at people all the time when they say, "Where are you from?" when we're interviewing folks. I say, "Guess," and they always say South Georgia. Well, I'm not from South Georgia. I'm from Smyrna, but you know what? I talk like I'm from South Georgia, so that makes me new kin in some way or fact. Does that work?
I guess so.
I guess so.
We'll make it work.
Hey, man, tell me about growing up in Thomasville, Georgia. And for folks that don't understand Thomasville, if I'm correct, there was 2 high schools back in the day, right? Big rivals and that sort of thing. Tell us about growing up in South Georgia.
Well, I mean, of course, it was all I knew growing up. Thomasville was home, and it was what we considered, one of the towns that had some very good athletes. And we knew that growing up. There were a lot of great athletes that came from Thomasville. Your William Andrews, Guy McIntyre, Jesse Smalls, Myron Guyton, Danny Copeland. We had quite a few guys go on to play pros, go to college and go to the professional ranks from Thomasville. And we had, some people to look up to. And so, Thomasville is really two high schools. One is a county school, one's a city school. And we had a lot of good times, rivals. Both schools were, had pretty good talent. But the thing about it was we were all friends in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And so I had a really good buddy of mine who's a quarterback at Thomasville that ended up going to Georgia Tech, Sean Jones. We grew up together. Mom and our parents were great friends. And we grew up going to school together throughout, middle school and high school. And so we were really good friends, and we were very competitive on the field and on the court. And so it was one of those type of situations where, you have great competitors on the field, but when on the court, but when it's all said and done, we were going to always be good friends.
No doubt.
And nothing that happened in the game was going to deter that.
No doubt. And for folks that don't know Thomasville, it's not the biggest town in the world, but there's some, other than athletes, there's some major guys that came out of Thomasville, like Andrew Young and Joanne Woodward. But we're here to talk basketball. But, Doug, those are some great folks that come from Thomasville, Charlie.
Most definitely. Good morning, Charlie. Got a question for you. What made you choose Florida State, and how was it like playing for Coach Bobby Bowden?
Well, it really came down to two teams because I visited Georgia Tech, which we know that Sean ended up going to Georgia Tech, and it came down to Georgia and Florida State. And I enjoyed my visit. Coach Ray Goff was my recruiter, and Coach Vince Dooley was the coach at that time. And I had, a great visit at UGA, and they treated me well and all those things. However, when it was all said and done, Florida State did the same thing, and Coach Bowden had allowed Brad Johnson the opportunity to play basketball. And so that's what I wanted to do as an athlete. I wanted to be able to play basketball and football, and Coach Bowden had history on his side, basically, that allowed Brad Johnson, and I trusted him more at that time because he had that opportunity. And plus, it was a little bit closer to home as well.
Yeah, it is close to home. And Coach Bowden allowed, like you said, Brad Johnson to play both. Deion Sanders played football and baseball down there at Florida State. Charlie, how come we don't see players doing that this day and age? I mean, it's not that long ago, my friend. We're not talking 50 or 60 years ago like people are talking ancient times. Why don't we see college athletes playing two sports like that anymore, you think?
Well, a lot of times it's sport specific now, where things have changed. I probably would do it again if I had the opportunity, and it really comes down to whether coaches want to give the kids an opportunity to do that. And for me, I enjoyed playing both sports, which people ask me, what's your favorite sport? Well, I enjoyed playing both of them. So that's the reason why I continued to play. But I also wanted to keep my options open when it came to, professional. If that was a legitimate shot for me to play professional, be a professional athlete, I wanted to have options. And so that was another reason why I continued to play basketball and football. But in today's time, you really, can't. It's a crapshoot if you try to do that. And a lot of kids don't want to trust that process of whether they get drafted on a lower scale or, in one or the other sport. So the best two sports athletes today would be baseball and football guys.
Mm-hmm.
Won't ever see another basketball, football guy like myself. And if it does happen, it'll be quite some time, because now you have to almost declare that, if you're going to be in the NFL, you got to go to the combine and those types of things. And if you're going to be in the NBA, you have to, carve out time to make those things happen as well.
Now, you got drafted in the Major League Baseball draft, too. Now, was that in high school or was that during your college time?
I was doing my college time. It was my junior and senior year. My last 2 years in college, I got drafted by the Brewers and the Yankees.
Now, were you playing baseball, or just because you were a pure athlete they took you? What was it?
No, I didn't play baseball in college. They mainly just drafted my rights if I was to choose
Now
to come and play baseball.
I've got to ask you this, Charlie, because this is what we never hear these kind of stories. You get drafted in all three sports, okay? You're not going to play baseball whatsoever. What was it? What round? Do you even recall what round or what they offered you to come play baseball?
Well, actually, I didn't get drafted in football, so I only got drafted in two sports.
Okay.
But one was, 75th, and then one was 19th.
Wow. Wow.
75th round or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was long shot.
Long shot. What pushed you to the NBA? You're a great football player. You win the Heisman Trophy. You win all kind of awards, not only the Heisman Trophy, you're a consensus All-American, a Walter Camp Award winner, Johnny Unitas, Davey O'Brien Sullivan Award winner, all things. What pushed you to the NBA?
Well, it really came down to, me just having the opportunity to be able to put myself in a position where I could play, I have the opportunity to play in the NFL or the NBA. And I'd heard that I was, regardless of what I would have done, more than likely I would have been a third or fourth round pick just based on size alone. And so with that assessment, I just felt like it was better served for me to leave my options open, because I still didn't know where I would, land as far as the NBA is concerned, because I didn't get a pulse on, where I would, first round, second round pick, or whatever the case may be. And so I had to go and, put in the time and the work, and I was afforded some opportunities to play in an NABC All-Star game.
Yeah.
And after that game, I ended up winning the MVP, which my whole goal through, the combine and basketball workouts was just to compete and play even with the guys who have been playing basketball all their lives. And throughout college, that was their only sport. And so I was able to win the MVP. And then I was afforded the opportunity to go on a Nike trip with Coach Calipari as the head coach, and Todd Bozeman was his assistant. And, they liked what they saw for me from those, from our four countries tour, Nike tour. And so that was another good opportunity for people to get to know me through someone else's eyes. And it just things started to fall into place when it came to basketball. And so football draft came around, and there was there was a taker. The Kansas City Chiefs called me in the 5th round, and I just told them that I wouldn't be able to guarantee them that if they drafted me, that I would be able to come to camp, because if I got drafted in the 1st round in basketball, I would definitely be going there. And
that would have made you Joe Montana's backup, wouldn't it? Back in.
Yes, that is correct.
Man.
Well, I want to commend you on your career. It's amazing. You talk about Calipari and you talk about Ty Bozeman. Well, I was fortunate to have one of my players to play for Ty at Cal. That was Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
That's right.
Yeah. And I just got to ask you this question, because on this show, we keep it real. I think you're one of the first people, or very few athletes, African-American, to open up people's eyes about playing the quarterback position. Do you think that at that time they were taking you seriously as a quarterback, or they wanted to put you at a DB or receiver?
Well, no one really talked to me about changing positions. And, at that time, yes, African Americans were limited, as far as the quarterback position was concerned. And I had another detractor. I was 6 foot.
Yeah.
If that, and like 182 pounds when I weighed in for my pro day. So I had a lot of detractors when it came to my size, but tape-wise and those types of things, those are all positive. However, there were some African-American quarterbacks before me, which Doug Williams was my hero. That's the reason why I wore number 17 in college. And so he was, one guy that I looked up to. Tony Robinson, I think his name was, who's from Tallahassee, played at Tennessee. He's another one that I looked up to as well. And so there weren't very many of us, but that was just the times. Now we have quite a few guys who come up the ranks and, been a great role model for the African-American quarterbacks. And it's just, it was just part of that day and age, which, it was fine. But that was just the way it is. And whether I was African-American or not, if I was 6 foot, 182 pounds, I know I wasn't going in the 1st round. So that's just part of God's plan for my life, and I'm grateful that He gave me an opportunity to experience all those things and also, be a role model for those quarterbacks, African-American quarterbacks that came behind me.
Charlie, you've made one things I've always loved about you, and I'm about the same age you are, my friend, is your stance and your love of the Lord through your whole life, being involved with Fellowship of Christian Athletes, being open with your faith even during some times up in New York. But I got to ask you this question, and we're just going to keep it real. It's Game 5 of the 97 Eastern Conference. P.J. Brown throws you down. I mean, the love of the Lord goes out of the way for just a second. What are you thinking, my friend?
Well, I mean, for me, it was two competitors going at it, because if you sit back and know who we are, PJ and myself,
yeah,
it was definitely out of character. And so, the good thing about it, it happened, and it turned the series on our part, because we had some guys suspended the next 2 games. And so it was a turning point of the series, but it was a life lesson for me. And I learned from it, and you didn't hear more of me getting into altercations. And so, from that, I was able to, gain a good friend, PJ Brown.
Yeah.
And so, it was, like I said, it was just two competitors, playing the game, and it got heated, and those things happened. So we both learned from it, and hopefully, it's something that a lot of people can learn from, And pride goes for every fall, as we all know. And so we just have to humble ourselves, and at that time, we had to humble ourselves and know that we were out there to compete, and that is nothing personal, none of those types of things. So it was like I said, it was a series changer for the Knicks, but it was a great life lesson learned for myself, and hopefully everyone that hears it here's that story.
Great word, my friend. Great word.
One thing I want to ask you, as a competitor and as an athlete, a professional athlete on any level you want to be on, because you're just that good, and I'm not just edifying you. But let me ask you this right here. How did you transfer that competitiveness into what you're doing now? Like, what are you most passionate about now in your life?
Well, at this day and age, besides the family, my wife and kids, I'm still a competitor. I'm coaching. I haven't been as successful as a coach. But one of the things that, when it comes to wins and losses, I should say, but one of the things I really focus on is, helping kids become all-around kids. And what I mean by that is the choices that they make in the classroom, the way they treat people, to be a good teammate, regardless of your skill level, because I know I was blessed to have the opportunity to be at all levels, meaning I was on top, winning the Heisman Trophy, and then going to the bottom, being a rookie and having to fight your way through, or, being a freshman, having to punt, and had to wait my time in college to play quarterback. And there's just numerous cases of, being on top and being on the bottom, and how you have to, be patient and persevere through some things to be able to receive what you've been called to do. And so I just share all of my experiences to try to help kids understand that, be humble through the whole process, regardless of where you are, status-wise, accolades, those types of things, because you're always going to, sometimes you may be on top, sometimes you're going to be on the bottom, but you have to have a humble spirit through it all. And, situations are going to arise. How do you prepare your heart for it and your mind to persevere through it? And when you're going through it, how do you continue to fight? Because a lot of times we give up on our dreams when the dreams may be just right there, or the goals may be right there. And so that's my whole passion, is to be able to help kids, think through their choices. There's a big phenomenon now where if kids, kids aren't happy in one place, they want to transfer to go somewhere else to play, and those types of things, as opposed to, whether it's competing for a job or waiting your time, or playing your role at that juncture, whatever that role may be. And so just trying to get kids to understand that in life, that's what it's going to be. You're going to always be competing for something. And even when you're handed a job, you still got to compete, because somebody's always trying to get your job.
No doubt. And Charlie, that's what I love hearing your story, because of what you're passionate about, and it transforms in everything in life you've told us today. Hey, let's talk about another good thing, and that's your FSU Seminoles right now. And let me tell you this, you're going to laugh at this. Coach Doug and I were talking earlier. Every coach that we've interviewed this year from college basketball is still in the tournament. We had a great opportunity to talk with one of Florida State's assistants, Stan Jones, not too long ago. And Florida State beat a good Xavier team last night. Hey, I know you're rooting for Florida State, but be honest with me, my friend. Did you have them going this far? I mean, they had a tough regular season, but they're really showing out when the time counts.
Yes, I actually had them losing last night in my bracket, but I'm glad it proved me wrong.
Yeah.
Not that I have confidence in those types of things. They've just been up and down the whole year. And, I didn't see them beating Xavier. But I'm glad that they were able to pull it out last night. They've been playing very good defense for the most part during the course of the year. It was just offensively they had struggled. They were winning games, and then in the end, they weren't able to find make the necessary shots or make the necessary plays to be able to finish off some games. And so, I'm happy to see them, especially last night being down 12 points late in the second half, be able to pull it out, which was a great sign for us moving forward.
No doubt. And this tournament has just been a lot of fun for not only the fans but the teams. And it's good to see some of the little guys win. It's good to see some of the great upsets. And the bracket Florida State's in, my friend, you could be dancing to the Final Four. In quite frankly, coming off the top side, I mean, anything could happen in the next 3 games. You could be going to the national championships in San Antonio watching Florida State play very easily. Wouldn't shock me with the route they've got to go. They got to get by some good teams, but still, they got a shot, don't you think?
Well, there are a lot of teams here that have shots.
Yep.
When you take out the number 1 and number 2 seeds, in most of the top brackets, most of the brackets, you start talking about teams that had, really, really good seasons, but they were just unfortunate with, their one game. And, Gonzaga is who we play. They've been playing well, and they have a very good team, but of course, any team can be beat. And you have Michigan and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
On the other side of the bracket. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But you still got Kentucky in the mix. You still got Kansas.
Yeah.
And Villanova and Duke. Those are your they call them blue bloods, but they're still in the mix and they're playing well. But at any time, any of these teams, as we know, can be beat.
Were you pulling like the rest of us the other night for University of Maryland, Baltimore County when they were playing Virginia? Were you on the edge of your seat? Did you get a chance to see that game?
I didn't get a chance to see it because we were watching another game, but we kept watching the score.
Yeah.
And we were just waiting for Virginia to make a run. But the numbers for UMBC kept getting larger, and the spread kept getting wider. And we were like, man, I don't think they're going to come back. And I knew Virginia's in trouble because they, during the course of the year, they didn't put up very many points as it was. And it was going to be tough for them because the other team was scoring at will. And so, I think they beat them in transition. That was the only way they were going to have a chance was to get out in transition and get some easy looks at the basket because half-court Virginia is pretty stout. And so, that was the way they were able to put an upset the other night.
It was fun. It was awful fun to watch.
Charlie, this is Doug. It's been great talking to you. But what I want you to do now is tell us how people can get in touch with Charlie Ward and the things that you have going on. Tell us about the book and how we can reach you.
Well, I'm, of course, on Twitter and Facebook and those things. I am at Real Charlie Ward. And I'm Charlie Ward Official. And the book you can go on the website, charlieward.org, to be able to purchase the book there, or Barnes and Nobles, or Amazon.com to purchase the book. And so for those that are possibly, I'll be coming to the Atlanta area. Not sure when just yet, but I'll be coming to do a book tour, book stop there. I'll be at the Florida State spring game, April 14th. I'll be doing a book signing at the bookstore at the stadium. And so I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully seeing more people. And the Twitter and all those things have been really, really interesting with the book. And I'm grateful for all the people that have supported our cause, which the funds for the book will go towards our family foundation, which will go to support youth groups that we've supported in the past.
Well, Charlie, thank you for your time this afternoon. We know you're a busy guy. We thank you for your time. Thank you for keeping it real with real life basketball. Thank you for just being yourself, and most of all, thank you for what you stand for not only for the kids, but as a man, and the way you've always positioned yourself and your brand that they tell us to use this day and time, your brand. But your brand has always been genuine, my friend, and that's from somebody that's basically the same age as you and watched you my whole life. So thank you for that, my friend. I hope your book does well, and if we can help you in any way at Real Life Basketball, we appreciate it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yes, and let me close by saying this. We really appreciate your mindset on looking at things in a positive light, because even at me being older than you, things are always going to arise, and we need to try and find the positive side of it that's going to make things better for us and everybody else around us. So, like I said, and like Darren says, I know we're going to be on the same page, but we really appreciate you talking to us today.
Well, I appreciate the coach, and all the best to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, Charlie. We'll talk to you soon, my friend, and we'll be pulling for Florida State in basketball. Non-football. We're Bulldogs, okay? Non-bad.
All right.
Thank you, my friend. All right.
Have a good.
You too.
Bye-bye. Charlie Ward on the Carriage Automotive Group Skyline this afternoon. Good guy, Doug. Good guy. What do you think?
Very good guy. Very good guy.
I mean, you can tell he's just a humble man. Humble man. He's got every right in the world to be one of the most cocky people that ever walked the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have played 3 different sports professionally. Yeah. How many people get that opportunity in life?
This one even better. He didn't even play baseball, and they still drafted.
Didn't even play baseball, and they still drafted. Did you know that, Nick?
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I mean, I was shocked, but he said he was drafted in the 75th round by the Brewers, and then some other time by somebody else.
19th or something like that.
19th the next time by somebody, so they saw something in him.
Yankees.
Mm-hmm. Yankees. And he played. You know, he had that. It was Game 5 of the Eastern Conference, and the Knicks were playing, and he was going for a rebound, and P.J. Brown actually took him. And this is where that question came from, and pretty much body slammed him. And he had a bench clearing brawl. Now, back in the day with the Knicks, I mean, that was John Starks, that was Charles Oakley, that was Patrick Ewing, that was that crowd. Doug, that's probably the last bit of folks I'd probably pick to fight with. But P.J. Brown was a beast back in the day. You know,
well, it's always two sides when you're competing.
Yeah,
you know, you can't. You're supposed to always. It's said that you're being in charge of your attitude and your effort. Now, I would have looked at this situation a lot differently had he tried to maybe body slam Charles Oakley.
Yeah.
You know, because now that changes the whole scenario. It's not going to happen.
He's picking up a 6 foot, 180-pound guy and throwing him around. So you know, I like that.
But PJ is a good character person.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy, no joke. And you know what he said? What I like about what Charlie said about that interview? We learn from it.
Yes.
We learn from it. We all learn from it, and you learn from mistakes and you keep going. So that's what we need to take. Check out Charlie's book. Check out his information online. Coach, been another great show. I know the tournament's going on this week. We're going to make some what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? I mean, I ain't even asked you this yet. What's going on with your bracket? in particular?
Well, I got a little life over here. It's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I don't want to say who that is right now, but I do want to have a shout out for Texas A&M, Amir Abdur-Rahim, one of my former players, and Louisville for beating my alma mater.
Middle Tennessee and the NIT.
Yeah, and Darius Perry, you look good.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Coach. How many of your Final Four teams are left?
One.
Who's that?
I ain't gonna tell you.
Go ahead and tell it. Go ahead and tell it.
Wait, no, hold on. Let's ask Nick how many does
Our
he
producer,
have?
Nick, what's your Final Four look like, Nick, right now?
It looks like I really need Villanova and Kansas to keep winning because the other side is a bunch of red.
I'll be honest. I don't mind telling y'all this. I had Virginia and Xavier in the Final Four. Both of them are out. But I had Purdue and Kansas in the Final Four, and I got Kansas winning it all. So I think I still got a legitimate shot.
Well, I had Kansas in the championship game against Virginia, who got shocked.
Who'd you have up there in the top in the East? Didn't you have Wichita State?
No, I had Villanova was going to be playing Purdue.
And you had Purdue going in there?
Yes.
Well,
no. Villanova was going to beat Purdue.
Well, they're still both in there, so you got 2 out of 4 there.
Okay, but I'm going to lose. Well, we won't say I'm going to lose, but I like my shots. Well, either way, Kansas or Villanova, they're going to play each other. Somebody's gone.
I ain't been a Villanova fan all year long, but Villanova's good. I mean, they waxed Alabama. Let's just face it.
If you want to speak about waxing, how about Auburn?
You know what? I think the state of Alabama just got waxed altogether in basketball this weekend. I mean, combined total, I think they lost by 60 points in 2 games.
Wow.
Auburn got killed by Clemson. And, Coach, you and I were sitting there texting each other when UMBC was beating Virginia. What was you thinking during that game? Well, if you're the Virginia coach, what are you thinking? What are you saying to your team after that game? You're the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, and you lose to the 64th team to get in there. What do you say in the locker room?
Well, I know what he said on TV was accurate. He said we got our butts beat, and I take my hat off to him for being honest. But he was right there. You can't hide it.
Right.
And same thing said about Auburn yesterday. They ran into a machine gun where you were down by 40 trying to get into a game to go to the Sweet 16. That doesn't seem real.
2 SEC teams left, Texas A&M and Kentucky. Who's got a better chance to make the Final Four? I know you hate to say it, but
I mean, I love Texas A&M, and we've had Kentucky on here as well.
Oh yeah, we have had Kentucky on here. You know what, Doug? Every coach that we've had, every college coach that we've interviewed has got a team in the Final Four. I mean, Sweet 16. Kentucky with Kenny Payne. Yes. Florida State, we interviewed Stan Jones. He's there. Texas A&M with Amir Abdur-Rahim. Mm-hmm. 3 assistant coaches, 3 teams in the Final 16. So you know what that tells me? You know what it tells me?
We're doing pretty good.
Roy should have took your call and came on with us.
Well, he took our call.
I know, and he's promised to come on with us.
Oh, yeah, we got him. He'll be coming soon.
He'll be coming soon.
We also wanted to talk to Dickie V.
Dickie V's coming.
Okay.
Dickie V's coming in April. He promised me he's coming in April. If he don't, then we'll say on air he didn't come like he promised. Mount Verde coach had promised to come on.
Well, we're going to get Doyle. We'll get him this week or next week down at McDonald's.
Good. That'll be fun. Anyway, what you thinking this weekend's going? Who's your Final Four in the South and in the West? We got to make our new Final Four predictions before we get off the air. Who you going with in the South, Coach? You got KSU, Kentucky, Loyola, and Nevada. Who comes out of the South? Nick, I'll let you go first.
I'm taking Kentucky.
Nick's going with the Blue Bloods. Coach, who you got? You got Kentucky, KSU, Loyola, and Nevada.
I like Nevada.
You like Nevada?
Yes.
Who you like, Kentucky and KSU? Kansas State. That's not Kennesaw State. Yeah. But by the way, Maryland, just you Kennesaw State fans, University of Maryland, BC, is a smaller school in Kennesaw State. Just want to throw that out there. But anyway, maybe you need to go up there and get that job, Kennesaw State coach.
They still have a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a coach.
They do?
I'm sorry, I got distracted when you was talking about the size of the schools. Well, you go ahead and give us your picks.
Give me my picks, okay? As much as I hate it, I'm just going to tell you this. As much as I hate it, I got to say Kentucky. As much as I hate it, they're going to the Final Four because they're going to basically be playing home games in Atlanta because KSU ain't bringing a bunch of folks to Atlanta. Nevada ain't bringing a bunch of folks to Atlanta. And Loyola Chicago ain't got a bunch of folks to bring. So Kentucky's basically playing 2 home games in Atlanta. And you know what? They got a bunch of young kids, and it looks like they got the cohesiveness going. They really do. So I'm taking Kentucky. As we go down to the bottom slate, my heart wants to tell me my heart wants to tell me Florida State. That's what my heart wants to tell me. My head is telling me Michigan. Michigan won the Big Ten, but I'm going to tell you, that big boy matchup between Mr. Wright and Texas A&M and Michigan's big boy on the inside is going to be a bang-up game, Texas A&M and Michigan. That's going to be a bang-up game, but you know what? As much as I hate to say this, I got to go with Michigan. So I got Michigan and Kentucky. So what will happen? It'll probably be Nevada and Gonzaga, but, you know. And I'm hoping to God Gonzaga don't bang. I don't even like looking at Mark Few because he's in such good shape. I know he don't eat nothing but nuts and berries and all that kind of stuff, just looking at the man. But speaking of looking, let's look over there to the east, where your Final Four guy, Villanova's still in, my Final Four guy, Purdue's in. What's going to happen, Villanova and West Virginia? West Virginia just killed Marshall last night.
Yeah, West Virginia was for real.
Bob Huggins, he may eat Villanova himself. I promise you, he's glad he's got Villanova first before he gets Purdue or Texas Tech. But and another one of my brackets, not the official one here, but another one, just one I flipped quarters on to pick the finals. I got Texas Tech winning it all. And that's in a money category over there. I may win some money because I looked and I was the only person to have Texas Tech. What do you think is going to happen, Villanova and West Virginia, Coach? I know you're going to stick with your Villanova pick, but
I know, but it's going to be a very competitive game because if West Virginia can come out and play a full court game like they did last night, pressure everywhere, attacking the boards and attacking the basket, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Then let's go down there to Midwest. Nick, is anybody going to stop Kansas? Does Clemson have a shot at Kansas? No. Coach?
Well, if Clemson can play like they did, they have definitely got a shot. Against the Atlanta Hawks, shoot. They were unreal. Everything they put up, which is one of those nights, of course. But, hey, like I said, no disrespect. I love Auburn. Jared is my guy. Bruce Pearl's good friend. But they got body slammed,
They have body slammed. Virginia got body slammed.
Yes.
Virginia got, Lord, I remember. Everything that Lyles kid threw up went in the basket that night. Everything.
Yes.
You'd see that little guard, the kid from Puerto Rico? Mm-hmm. I looked at the roster. Nick, you know how tall they said on the roster he was?
5'8".
They said 5'8". Did you look it up?
They said on TV.
He wasn't no more 5'8" than I'm 6'9". Okay? He might have been 5'6" at best.
But he played bigger.
Oh, dude.
Yes.
I would put him on my team, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Everywhere I looked up, he was like Mighty Mouse. He was in the play.
But you know what? It's unbelievable that people they can't comprehend this. This is history. They just created history.
Let me tell you something. In basketball aficionados and basketball purists like yourself, they need to take the Virginia game and the Kansas State game, and they need to show high school kids, middle school kids, college kids could watch that game and learn how to take a charge. I have never seen, and it wasn't the refs. Them kids were taking charges. Kansas State coming down the line with 6'8", 245 against a kid. You could just look at the difference in the size of the kids. And these Maryland, Baltimore County kids looking like, man, they might have got some spaghetti last night. And these other kids just built like houses coming down through there knocking these kids around. And, I mean, it just looked like two different worlds, did it not? It really, them kids took charges like crazy.
Yeah, they put the ball in the basket.
Again, thanks to Charlie Ward for being a part of Real Life Basketball today. We appreciate it. We'll be back Friday with another show. Thanks for our sponsors, Carriage Automotive Group. But always, it's good to be here with Nick. Our producer, Doug, it's always fun, man, what's going to happen. You know what? We might have to get our buddy from 92.9 The Game on Friday to tell us what he thinks is going to happen this weekend, too.
And I didn't chart down what he said, but it was.
He picked Michigan State.
Yeah, yes, right. He said they were going to win it all.
He said they was going to win it all.
Okay, that's right.
And he did say that he thought Buffalo may beat, but we could talk about that all day long. He thought Buffalo may win the next round against Kentucky, but they got sure enough whooped.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes right here.
So anyway, appreciate you listening to Real Life Basketball once again. We'll be back on Friday. Thanks again. And remember, Donald Trump's bracket's coming out this afternoon, and it's 100% correct, Coach.
In closing, just like say, hey, talk to you soon, Jeff Romero. All right.